My boss called me into her office and demanded I give her my wedding venue for her daughter's wedding. She threatened my career when I said no. So I quit. Then I made sure everyone knew why. Here's what happened. The email came in at 9:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. See me in my office. Now. No please. No hello. Just a command from someone who'd been treating me like a servant for 3 years. I walked down the hallway, past cubicles where people pretended not to watch, past the water cooler where whispers lived, past the corner office with the glass walls that let everyone see in but no one see out. My boss, Patricia, was sitting behind her massive desk, a woman in her late 50s with expensive suits and cheap ethics. She didn't look up when I walked in. She never did. Close the door, she said. Closed it. Sat in the chair across from her. Waited. She finished typing something, clicked her mouse, and finally looked at me. Her eyes were cold, calculating. The same eyes she'd used to deny me a raise, to take credit for my work, to make me feel like I was lucky to have a job at all. I need your wedding venue, she said. I blinked. I'm sorry. The venue you booked for your wedding next month. I need it for my daughter's wedding. Hers got double booked, and yours is the only one that works with her date. I stared at her, waiting for the punchline, the joke, the part where she said she was kidding. She didn't say anything else. My wedding is in 4 weeks, Patricia. We've been planning this for over a year. Deposits are paid. Invitations are sent. My fiancé's family is flying in from out of state. I'll reimburse you for the deposits. You can't reimburse me for the invitations, or the save the dates, or the hotel blocks, or the photographer who's only available that weekend, or the caterer who's booked solid for months. She waved her hand like I was being dramatic. These are details. You can figure them out. My daughter has her heart set on that venue, and I'm not going to disappoint her. With respect, I'm not going to disappoint my fiancé either. Patricia leaned back in her chair. Her expression shifted from demanding to threatening. It was a shift I'd seen before, right before she threw someone under the bus, right before she made someone's life hell until they quit. Let me be clear, she said. I'm not asking, I'm telling. You will cancel your wedding at that venue, or there will be consequences. What kind of consequences? The kind that make you wish you'd just handed over a stupid venue. I stood up, not because I was done with the conversation, because I was done with her. 3 years of this woman's toxicity. 3 years of being undervalued, overworked, and disrespected. 3 years of watching her play favorites, steal credit, and treat people like they were disposable. And now she wanted my wedding. I'll think about it, I said, and I walked out. Before I tell you what happened next, let me give you some background. My name is David. I'm 31 years old. I'd been working at a mid-sized marketing firm for 3 years as a senior account manager. I was good at my job, really good. I'd brought in major clients, grown existing accounts, and consistently exceeded my targets. But Patricia didn't care about any of that. Patricia cared about one thing, loyalty to her. And I wasn't loyal enough. Not because I wasn't a team player, but because I wouldn't kiss her rings. I wouldn't laugh at her mean jokes. I wouldn't throw my coworkers under the bus to make her look good. So she made my life difficult. She gave me impossible deadlines. She took credit for my wins and blamed me for her losses. She denied me a promotion twice, even though I was the most qualified person on the team. She made snide comments about my appearance, my work ethic, my personal life. I stayed because the job market was rough, because I had a wedding to pay for, because my fiancée, Rachel, was counting on me, because quitting felt like losing. But Patricia didn't know how close I was to breaking. She didn't know that I'd been updating my resume, saving my money, planning my escape. She just saw me as a tool that was refusing to do what she wanted. Let me tell you about the venue. It was called The Willows, a beautiful estate about an hour outside the city. Old trees, a pond, a restored barn from the 1800s with string lights and exposed wood. It was the kind of place you saw on Pinterest and thought, there's no way we can afford that. But we could. Barely. Rachel and I had saved for 2 years. We'd cut corners everywhere. No fancy engagement party. No expensive bachelor trip, no designer dress. We'd put every extra dollar into making this day perfect. We booked the Willows 11 months in advance. It was the first Saturday in October, peak wedding season. Prime leaf peeping time. The most beautiful weekend of the year. We'd sent save the dates 6 months ago. Invitations 3 months ago. We had RSVPs from 120 people, including Rachel's grandmother who was flying in from Florida and her aunt who was coming from England. The venue wasn't just a location. It was the centerpiece of our entire wedding. The thing everything else revolved around. The photographer knew the best spots. The caterer knew the kitchen. The DJ knew the sound system. We'd spent months coordinating with their team. And Patricia wanted me to give it up. For her daughter. A woman I'd never met. A wedding I'd never be invited to. The next day, Patricia called me into her office again. This time, she didn't even wait for me to sit down. "I need your answer," she said. "I'm not canceling my wedding." She smiled. Not a nice smile. The kind of smile a shark gives right before it bites. "David, I've been doing this for a long time. I know people. I have connections. If you don't do this for me, I will make sure you never work in this industry again." "You can't do that." "Can't I? I've been in this city for 20 years. Every major firm knows me. Every major firm owes me favors. One phone call from me and your name is mud. You'll be lucky to get a job as a barista." I felt my heart rate spike. Not because I believed her entirely, but because I knew she had power. I knew she had connections. I knew she was the kind of person who would absolutely destroy someone's career out of spite. "This is about a wedding venue," I said. "You're threatening my career over a wedding venue. This is about respect. And you're about to learn what happens when you don't show me any." I stood up. "I showed you 3 years of respect. I showed you late nights, weekends, and sacrifices. I showed you loyalty you never deserved. And this is how you repay me? By threatening to destroy my career because I won't give you my wedding." She didn't flinch. "Is that your final answer?" "It is." I walked out. I went to my desk, gathered my things, and left. I didn't quit, and not officially. I just left. I needed time to think, to plan, to figure out what the hell I was going to do. I went home and told Rachel everything. She listened without interrupting, her face getting paler with each sentence. When I finished, she was silent for a long time. "She can't do that," Rachel finally said. "She can't just take our venue. She can try." "What are we going to do?" I didn't have an answer. I still didn't have an answer. All I knew was that I wasn't going to let Patricia win. I wasn't going to let her take this from us. But I also knew that fighting her would cost me. My job. My reputation. Maybe my career. "Is it worth it?" Rachel asked. "The venue. Is it worth losing your job over?" "It's not about the venue. It's about what she represents. It's about the years of disrespect. It's about finally standing up to someone who's been treating me like garbage. I support you, whatever you decide. But we need to be smart about this. We can't just react. We need a plan." She was right. As always, she was right. That night, I did what I always do when I don't know what to do. I researched the numbers on workplace bullying. About 30% of American workers report being bullied at work. The most common form of workplace bullying is abuse of power, like threatening someone's career over a personal favor. Only about 30% of workplace bullies face any consequences. Most targets of workplace bullying eventually leave their jobs, either voluntarily or involuntarily. The numbers on employer retaliation. Retaliation is the most common claim filed with the EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. However, retaliation is also one of the hardest claims to prove. To prove retaliation, you need documentation. Emails, witnesses, paper trail. The numbers on quitting without another job. About 20% of people who quit their jobs do so without another job lined up. Of those, about 60% find new jobs within 3 months. The average time to find a new job in marketing is about 3 to 6 months. I had savings. Not a lot, most of our money had gone to the wedding, but enough to survive for a few months. Rachel worked too as a graphic designer. Her income could cover our basic expenses if we tightened our belts. But quitting without another job was risky. Really risky, especially with a wedding in 4 weeks. I went back and forth all night. Stay and fight? Quit and run? Try to negotiate? Document everything and sue? None of the options felt good. But one thing was clear. I couldn't keep working for Patricia. Not after this. Not after she'd shown me exactly who she was. The next morning, I made my decision. I was going to quit. But I wasn't going to quit quietly. I was going to make sure everyone knew why. I spent the morning writing a resignation letter. Not the usual, "I'm grateful for the opportunity" nonsense. A real letter. A letter that detailed Patricia's behavior, her threats, her abuse of power. I sent it to HR. I CC'd Patricia's boss. I CC'd the CEO. Then I packed my things, walked out of the office, and never went back. The fallout was immediate. My phone started blowing up within an hour. Texts from coworkers. Emails from HR. A call from Patricia's boss asking me to come in and talk. I ignored all of it. I needed space. I needed to breathe. That night, I posted about what happened on social media. Not the full story. Just enough to let people know I was looking for work and why I was available. The response was overwhelming. Dozens of people reached out. Friends, former colleagues, even strangers who'd heard about what happened. Several people told me they'd had similar experiences with Patricia. One person said she'd been trying to warn others for years. I started getting job leads, interviews, offers. Within 2 weeks, I had 3 interviews lined up. Within a month, I had a job offer. Better pay, better culture, better boss. And the venue? Rachel and I kept it. We got married on the first Saturday in October, just like we'd planned. The leaves were perfect. The weather was perfect. The day was perfect. Patricia didn't show up. She wasn't invited. But her daughter's wedding got moved to a hotel ballroom downtown. I heard through the grapevine that it was fine. Not great, just fine. I didn't feel bad about that. Not even a little. About 3 months after I quit, I got a call from a lawyer. Someone from my old company. Someone who'd also been mistreated by Patricia had filed a lawsuit. They wanted me to join as a witness. I said yes. The lawsuit didn't go to trial. The company settled. Patricia was forced into early retirement. Her reputation was ruined. The people she'd bullied for years finally got some measure of justice. I didn't get a huge settlement, but I got something better. I got to watch the woman who'd tried to destroy me get exactly what she deserved. This whole experience taught me a lot. About work. About boundaries. About knowing when to walk away. Your job is not your life. For 3 years, I let Patricia make me feel like my job was everything. Like I couldn't survive without her. Like I was lucky to have her. I wasn't. And neither are you. No job is worth your dignity. I stayed because I was scared. Scared of losing my income. Scared of the job market. Scared of starting over. But staying cost me more than leaving ever could. Cost me my peace. My self-respect. My sense of who I was. Sometimes the only winning move is to walk away. I couldn't beat Patricia at her own game. She had too much power, too many connections, too much experience playing dirty. But I could refuse to play. I could take my talents somewhere else. I could build something she couldn't touch. Document everything. If I documented Patricia's behavior earlier, I might have been able to do something about it sooner. Emails, texts, notes from conversations. All of it matters when you're trying to prove a pattern of abuse. Your network is your safety net. When I quit, I was terrified. But my network caught me. People I'd worked with, people I'd helped, people who knew my work. They showed up for me. They got me interviews. They gave me references. They believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. I want to share some numbers I found during my research, because I think they help put things in perspective. The numbers on workplace boundaries. 65% of workers say they've experienced unreasonable demands from a supervisor. 40% say they've been asked to do something outside their job description without additional compensation. 25% say they've been threatened with retaliation for refusing an unreasonable request. The numbers on quitting. The average person will change jobs 12 times in their career. The average tenure at a job is about 4 years. People who quit due to toxic bosses report higher job satisfaction at their next role. The numbers on workplace bullying. 30% of workers report being bullied at work. 50% of workplace bullying goes unreported. 70% of workplace bullies are in positions of authority. I wish I'd known these numbers when I was in the middle of it. I wish I'd known I wasn't alone. I wish I'd known that leaving wasn't failure. It was survival. If you're watching this and you're in a similar situation, a boss who's abusing their power, making unreasonable demands, threatening your career, here's what I tell you. Document everything. Every email, every text, every conversation. Write down dates, times, what was said, who was there. You might never need it, but if you do, you'll be glad you have it. Know your rights. Talk to HR. Talk to a lawyer. Understand what constitutes harassment, retaliation, and abuse of power in your state. Knowledge is power. Build your network. Stay in touch with former colleagues. Go to industry events. Keep your LinkedIn updated. Your network is your safety net. Build it before you need it. Save your money. Have an emergency fund. Enough to cover 3 to 6 months of expenses. It gives you the freedom to walk away when you need to. Trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Don't let anyone gaslight you into thinking you're overreacting. Your feelings are valid. Know when to leave. Not every situation can be fixed. Not every boss can be reasoned with. Sometimes the only way to win is to refuse to play. And that means walking away. You are not your job. Your worth is not determined by your title, your salary, or your boss's opinion of you. You are a human being, deserving of respect, regardless of where you work. Let me tell you about the wedding, because after all the drama, all the stress, all the fear, it was perfect. The leaves were at their peak. Reds and oranges and yellows that made the whole world look like a painting. Rachel walked down the aisle in a dress she'd found at a sample sale, and I cried before she even got halfway. We said our vows under the old oak tree by the pond. We danced in the barn with the string lights twinkling above us. We ate food that the caterer had spent weeks perfecting. We laughed with people we loved. And for one day, none of the other stuff mattered. Not Patricia. Not the job. Not the threats. Just us. Just this moment. Just the beginning of our life together. I looked at Rachel during our first dance and thought about everything we'd been through. The years of saving. The months of planning. The weeks of fear. And I realized that none of it had been wasted. Every struggle had led us here. To this day. To this moment. I love you, I said. I love you too, she said. And that was enough. The new job was everything the old job wasn't. My boss actually listened to me. My coworkers actually supported me. My ideas actually mattered. I got a 20% raise. Better benefits. More flexibility. And a boss who, when I told her about Patricia, said, "I'm sorry you went through that. It won't happen here." Didn't. I thrived. Within 6 months, I'd been promoted. Within a year, I was managing my own team. Within 2 years, I'd forgotten Patricia's name, except on the rare occasions when someone mentioned her and I remembered how far I'd come. It's been 3 years since that meeting in Patricia's office. Rachel and I are still married. We have a daughter now, a little girl with her mother's eyes and my stubbornness. We still drive by the willows sometimes. It's on the way to her parents' house. Every time we pass it, I smile. Not because I'm bitter, because I'm grateful. Grateful that we didn't let Patricia take it from us. Grateful that we stood our ground. Grateful that we chose each other over fear. I heard through the grapevine that Patricia's daughter got divorced. I don't know if that's true. I don't really care. Her life is her life. Mine is mine. And mine is good. So what's the moral of this story? Your wedding is yours. Your boundaries are yours. Your dignity is yours. Don't let anyone take them from you. Patricia thought she could bully me into giving her what she wanted. She thought her power, her connections, her threats would make me fold. She was wrong. Not because I'm stronger than her. Because I knew what mattered. My wedding. my fiancé, my peace. Those were worth fighting for. Those were worth quitting over. If you're in a situation where someone is trying to take something from you, your time, your energy, your dignity, ask yourself, what's it worth? What are you willing to lose to keep it? Sometimes the answer is everything. And sometimes walking away is the only way to win. If you're still watching, thank you. Thank you for listening to my story. I know it was long. I hope it was worth your time. If you're dealing with a toxic boss, a workplace bully, someone who doesn't respect your boundaries, know that you're not alone. Know that you have options. Know that you deserve better. You don't have to stay. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to let someone else's power define your worth. You can walk away. You can start over. You can build something better. I did. And you can too. If you like this story and want to hear more real-life workplace drama stories, click the video on screen right now. Thanks for listening. Take care of yourselves. And remember, no job is worth your dignity.